I can't do it all. You do it. You say that. What's going on? We're live? Hey, good morning, everyone in the OWL community. So we have some exciting news. We were at the Unleash event this Saturday, hosted by Wendy Bloom-Weiss to my left, and we decided to do something different with the OWL community. We are featuring her group right on the OWL app as the top category. We've never done this before. It is under Speakers, Coaches, and Networking Society. And if you're part of that group, of course, on Facebook, they have close to 20,000 members. Come join OWL, and you will be featured on the top line on the OWL app and get more incoming calls because our community is going to want to speak with you. What we're going to do is a call-in show. We've done these before. So for the next 2-3 hours, you'll be able to call in to Wendy Bloom. Just check her out once we go live. You know, it's first come, first serve. And you could ask any of our panelists here today any questions that are on your mind. So you'll see on the TV, we listed all the panelists and pretty much click their profiles in OWL and read about them. And if you want to get live on the show today, just call Wendy and you'll be patched in. Everyone will get up to 10 minutes to chat with everyone today. And it's going to be exciting because the Unleash event was exciting. Wendy, tell everyone about the Unleash event and what's about to happen in the next 2-3 hours.
Well, the premise behind the Unleash Your Superpower event is that we all have a voice, a message, and superpowers inside of us. So we are an ever-growing community of speakers and coaches and passionate, driven entrepreneurs that want to make a greater impact in the world.
Well, I want to get right into it today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Wendy available right now in the OWL app. So I'm going to go ahead and share our screen so everyone could have step-by-step instructions. So if you look up on the TV, this is the home screen of the OWL app. And you can see all these experts that are part of our community already live, like Debbie Golden. You could call her right now for $1. Most of these experts are charging $1 because it's all about networking. It's not about the actual money made from the actual calls. It's about the bigger opportunities with these relationships. And when we look at Wendy, we're going to go live right now for the next 3 hours. So Wendy, I'm going to refresh the app, is right here. So if you want to be our first incoming caller, she's right there. Call in. And while we're waiting for our incoming caller, Wendy, why don't you introduce the guests today?
It would be my pleasure. I'm going to start over here to my right and introduce Lynn Robin. She is so multi-talented. She works as a specialist with people towards the ender stage of their life or planning for. She's also an amazing singer. And it's such a great honor to have you with us here today, Lynn. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Eileen Lemmerman. And Eileen is a psychologist. She is also a women's empowerment coach. She runs the Sister Circle. She's here. We're all here in Boca Raton. We're located here in South Florida. So it's so great to have you here with us.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here.
Amazing. And we have Suzette Bravo, and her podcast is Bravo Unscripted. And she is really passionate about helping young girls and women and people step into their power to unleash their greatness in the world. So welcome, Suzette.
Thanks, Wendy. I love that.
Well, amazing to be here with all of you. It's truly an honor. The OWL app I love because we had the event this past Saturday, and because the community, they so connected. Like, what's the next step so that you can keep that buzz going, that you can get those relationships and even deepen those relationships even more? And that is really the beauty of what you have created here at OWL, the podcast and the app.
And what I hope to see is when we have events like yours, is it just doesn't stop at the event, right? Often we set up Zooms after events, but everyone has busy schedules. It's really difficult to then connect one-on-one with a lot of people at the actual event. How many times have we all been at an event and we've got like 2 minutes to speak to someone and they have to run, and then we never get to speak to them ever again? And the power of OWL is that when we partner with events like yours, then we could showcase their group on our home screen, and everyone at the event can then have one-on-ones with one another.
Well, I will tell you, the way that you set up the live podcast studio at the event with red carpet to be able to feature the speakers and the guests and the attendees in the room, I mean, that blows my mind. And you then create content for everyone at the events as well. And so they are able to be featured in their area of expertise and share their story and be part of the whole infrastructure, whether there was, I believe everyone's a speaker. So thank you so much, because that was such a big part of the success and the event on Saturday.
And look at this. We have some of your community making themselves available. So Maxine just made herself available on the Owl app. She hasn't received any calls yet. So if you're out there and want to speak to Maxine, give her a ring. And then, of course, we have Debbie Golden, who's available as well. She loves the Owl app. I think she broke a record on the platform. I think she got to approximately 100 calls within a 30-day period. She loved it so much that she just kept making herself available, and it drove a lot of opportunities for her business, but more importantly, meaningful relationships. I think people are starting to realize that social media is so difficult to really create meaningful relationships, because we're DMing and we're seeing all these posts, and unfortunately, it's a highlight reel. With Owl, it's really raw. You're having real, natural conversations one-on-one. It's not about all these different metrics. It's just about connecting with them, and then likely taking it off of Owl, right? Jumping on a Zoom meeting and really getting to know that individual more, or for a cup of coffee, or on a podcast, right? Often people that I've met on Owl turns into a podcast, and then all of a sudden we're doing business together.
Yeah, amazing. I know that you have booked on your podcast people that you met on Saturday, and so often you make these kinds of deeper connections on the app. And if you do it immediately right after the event, that is when you are kicking in that momentum to ride that. Now, Lynn, you jumped on here early this morning.
Yes, actually, I signed this up last night, or actually a week ago. I did the Owl app, but I really got in there last night and I finished everything and tried to learn. I had 3 calls coming in.
You had 3 calls that came in?
Yeah,
That is amazing.
I know. I was so excited, and everyone was so very helpful and guiding me through. They knew I was a new Owl person, and I was so appreciative of their guidance. It was great.
And when someone welcomes you into a community, it really feels like you're seen and part of the belonging. And so, what have you thought so far, Eileen? Have you been testing out and starting with the Owl app on your end?
Well, listen, I think anytime we can have, a technology and an opportunity to connect, I think that's really important.
Oh, we have our first incoming caller. We have Ellie Santra, musician, meditation teacher, and she also does a little bit for Owl. Everyone say hello to Ellie.
Hello,
Hi, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie.
Hi. I just thought I would be the first to kick off and call in.
Can you hear Ellie? Okay. No, we
No,
we just need
You guys hear
a
me?
little bit more volume. We're working on it. We got you in a sec.
Is she on? Just low volume?
she's on, but it's very low.
Can you test?
Can you hear
Oh,
me
that's
now?
better.
Oh, yes.
Better.
Better
Yes,
now.
better. Yep.
Check.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm excited to kick this show off. And I guess the thing that all of you guys I know have in common is you are all authors. So I'm curious, if I am someone who wants to get started and write my life into a story, where do I begin?
We're just going to lower the volume just a little bit, and then okay. So, yes. I am actually going to send your question over to our 3 panelists here, because they recently have become best-selling authors. And so, for you, Suzette, where did you begin? Like, what was the step for you?
Well, initially, when I decided I wanted to write my own book, I started just talking to people, and I was working with an editor, and she was really amazing, and we were diving in. I did a whole book mapping process, and it was really cool. But what I realized was there's so many moving parts and pieces to doing a book, and there's so many things that I didn't understand. And then by coincidence, because Wendy and I have been friends for 12, 13 years, we ran into each other. We were having lunch and she was telling me about the Becoming You project that was coming up. And for me, it was the perfect opportunity because I got the opportunity to write a chapter, a piece of my story, and to work with people who have done this before, who knew how to do it. Patricia and Wendy are just released their third book. They've got 2 more coming up. They know the ropes, they know how to do it. I didn't have to learn anything. I just got to focus on creating the content that I wanted to create and telling my story. And now that I've done that, I've dipped my toe in the water. I'm ready to pick back up on my book. But I highly recommend getting involved with people who have already done it and not trying to create the wheel yourself.
I totally agree, Suzette, because
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially I feel like if you're going to now go in and write your own book, you already have the experience and you can already say, I'm already a published author. And I feel like people take you more seriously just having that experience under your belt already. So that's definitely helpful.
absolutely, I really think that, you know, the idea of writing a book has always been something in my desires. But the idea of writing an entire book was very overwhelming to me. And so when I had the opportunity to connect with Wendy and Patricia, I thought, okay, this is going to give me, you know, some tools and confidence to move forward in writing my own book. So writing a chapter and having direction of what to write was awesome. And now I'm a best-selling author, so it's wonderful.
I've known
And
Wendy.
how long?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead,
Can you
Lynn.
guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Lynn, you
All right.
wanted to add something?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been studying under Wendy's coaching program. I've known her for over a decade now. And I was motivated to write a book in relation to the work that I do. And I didn't even tell Wendy I was going to do this book. And it was a lot of work. I didn't have any instruction. And so it's so amazing to have her and Patricia, you know, walk you through the steps. You just have to focus on what your chapter is going to be like. And it takes away all the stress. So I recommend, yeah, I recommend highly just to follow their platform. It's super easy.
And like, how long does this whole process typically take? And do you guys have like, just in terms of, yeah, how long does it take? And also, is there like a general theme sort of, and then each person gets assigned? Like, how do you decide who gets what?
That's a great question. So the process takes about a year from start to finish best-selling status and actually to get placed in key outlets like Barnes and Noble. And
Mm,
so we have coaching calls. So you begin with first thinking through. A lot of people come in and they really don't know what they're going to write about. And I tell people that's cool, right? You don't have to know because it's the evolution. But if you feel called to share your voice, your story or message in the world, then it's a process to really nail down where and how you're going to start, what you're going to write about for your chapter. So we want to have the space to breathe into that, and for the community, because our books, the first book called To Speak, Lead, Impact, had 22 authors, and then Becoming You, the second book, we had 15 plus authors, and then a same for this third book. And so it allows also for the community to come together so that they know that they're supported, that what they're feeling and thinking, that they're not the only one feeling that way. So you don't feel like you're in a silo doing it alone. So from start to finish, because then at the end of the process, it's really important too to leverage your story, because it's not only the marketing of the book, it's the writing of the book and it's the marketing of the book, and to be able to do it as the collective versus having to self-promote yourself. It feels so much better to do that. So that's about the time frame.
I think it's also
okay, that's really interesting.
It's a mind shift.
And
I just want to add this, please. It's a mind shift because I have always thought, got to do it on my own. It's not going to be good unless I do it myself. That's that type A kind of personality in me. But something about being in a community, and it has been a mind shift for me, that being together, belonging, having, encouragement and inspiration from others really helps your voice even get stronger and louder and more defined when you're in a community. And I think that has really helped me to see things a little bit differently in terms of writing.
Definitely. And I'm curious, like, is this, Wendy, you started this group, I'm guessing. So how did you come up with this idea? Like, are people doing this all over the country? Like, how did this come about?
Well, it came about. Let me. I'll segue back to the Speakers and Coaches Networking Society. I worked in corporate, so I didn't really know any coaches. I didn't really know any authors, and so along that journey, I created a Facebook group called the Speakers and Coaches Networking Society. I felt like a fish out of water starting to network. I worked for a company, right? We had a district, we had a
Yes.
team. And so the evolution I did think about, because I resigned from corporate the year that I turned 50. So I knew that I
Mm.
needed to go from one to one to one to many. And the way to do that is to build your credibility and your authority online. And the way to do that is to speak, and to speak so that you can leverage other people's audience as well. I had no community, I had no audience. And therefore
Mhm.
it just evolved to be the book. I wrote my first book as well when I turned 50, when I left corporate. And because of that, I knew how hard it was. I felt like an
Mm.
imposter. It felt weird
Yeah.
to me to market my book and toot my own horn and even have a table in an event or speak about it. And so I had heard of the model. I saw the model and I thought, wow, I wish I would have known that earlier. I want to bring this to the community, because the speakers and coaches community was growing and everybody's looking for the same thing. They're looking for to grow their
Yeah.
reach, their impact, to bring in leads, to be able to come together on platforms. Nobody knows where to begin. And so this group grew, and then the idea around the book project, and it really got birthed out of the beginning of COVID. Then I could spend more time in the group, and I was producing events and summits and that sort of thing. And I met Patricia Wooster, publishing partner. I had talked to different publishers and potential partners over 5 years, and it wasn't the right fit. And when I met Patricia, I knew that that was the one, and so it has really morphed into something so beautiful with over 60 authors in about a year and a half.
Yeah, it's
Amazing. Mm.
The other thing is that for me, it was really a huge leap to become part of a book because of my age.
Oh
And
man, I'm really glad you're talking about that.
yeah, and so in my 60s, I was thinking, where do I fit in? Is that really going to be something I could do? Is it too late for me? Is it, am I past my prime? And so being really encouraged to be part of this collective, be part of this community, and express myself and have a voice, and also be really applauded for my voice was so inspiring for me as a woman, as a woman, a senior woman. I hate that word senior, but it describes me right now, because I'm not midlife. I'm a little beyond midlife, but I'm not, I don't want to be in a senior center yet. So, but still, really, it was so encouraging for me. And it was such a huge step for me to say, no, it's never too late. As a matter of fact, my chapter in the book called To Speak, Lead, and Impact was called I didn't die at age 60. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's never too late. It's never too late to have a dream and to pursue that dream.
Awesome.
And she's up on the TV.
Oh, there you are, Eileen. There you are
Oh,
up there.
I
Look
am.
at that. Psychology, leadership, healthcare. Beautiful.
There I am.
I'd
Well,
like
here-
to
Here's-
piggyback on something, Eileen, that you said, talking about being older. And I believe that the wisdom that comes from that, because we can read all the books, we can do all the things, but it's experience that is the greatest teacher. And I love that you are using your voice and bringing this forward, because I think it's something, I think all of us have a message and everybody has a powerful, powerful story. We heard lots of talks Saturday about bringing your story forward. And I think that's really important, because every one of us has a unique perspective on different things. And you never know who that's going to resonate with and who that one person is that needs to hear your story. And also, being of the older side of a lot of this, I get it and I love it. And like I said, your experience and your wisdom is just so very needed in the world.
Well, thank you. Yes, I think we all are needed. I mean, we're all needed. We all bring something so valuable and something so unique. And if we can just touch one person and inspire them, well, then my job has been done. Then I know I've really made an impact in the world.
Beautiful. Okay, let's see. I'm looking up here to see. Oh, we've got, we can see everybody that is live. So
Yeah.
we've got Debbie, Maxine, Patricia's
They're
live.
on calls. They're on calls. Look.
They're on,
Oh,
they're on
on
calls. They're
calls.
actually, oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
They're working.
Knowledge. Oh,
Yeah.
on calls. All of them
Yeah,
are
so
on
these
calls,
people
we
are
can
available.
see. These people are, okay.
It's beautiful.
Can we
So
call
if
Max?
if it says live flashing, that means they're open to having a conversation, and you could call them. And the price is $1 for 10 minutes of time with them. And then when it shows on call flashing red, what's really unique with our app, you could click this button, notify me when available. So if you're listening out there and Wendy has the on call button flashing, just hit that. So that way, when she goes offline, you could be her next caller on today's podcast show.
Beautiful. So question, can we call Max?
We sure can.
Okay, let's call Max.
First timer
And there she
sometimes.
is, mold specialist.
First timer sometimes can struggle with getting their first call. So let's hope
Okay.
it goes well. Sometimes the phone starts ringing and they're like,
Okay.
what's this? It says owl incoming call. Ooh. No. Well, there you go. There's a incoming call simultaneously and a bug. Welcome to mobile apps. Oh no.
All right. Well, we don't give up.
I think she picked up and then Debbie called us.
Oh, she's
So
on
let's
a call. Well,
what
she's
happened
right.
is we were calling simultaneously, which, fortunately apps have bugs on them sometimes. So, it literally called the same time when we hit connect and Debbie was calling simultaneously. So Debbie, if you're out there listening, call back again. And then Max and poor Maxine, probably picked up our call.
I'm gonna actually text Max and
Tell her to call us. There we go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
See, we tried to create a little shortcut and call her and didn't wait for the other one to call us. And that's what happens, unfortunately. There we go. There's Debbie. Okay.
Hi, Debbie.
Well, hello, beautiful. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I was watching live and I saw you guys scrolling through. So I was just like, I'll just show everybody what it looks like to make a call.
Well,
Wonderful.
hello, that's wonderful.
I know.
Tutorial.
I'm like still seeing all your beautiful faces and I'm like, it was such a great event this past weekend for our book launch. And I'm like, now it's just like you go through all of this, I felt like a celebrity for, 3 or 4 days. And now I'm home cooking and doing laundry. And so it's like, so seeing you guys up there all together, I'm a little jealous, a little jelly over here. I'm like, oh, they're all together.
Well, you're with us right now. We feel
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and the great thing is that we're always doing things. It's ongoing, whether it's online, whether it's in person, that the community continues actually even to grow. And we love that we had so many authors in our last book, Impact Entrepreneur, that came from different parts of the country. We have, people like you came in from where were you at the time? Were you in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Okay, so you came from
Yeah.
Wisconsin. We had Amber that came in from
Arizona.
Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah, she came in from. We had Rachel who came in from LA. And the beautiful thing,
And
like the
Alicia.
Alicia came over from LA as well with the LA Tribune. And the really cool thing about the OWL app is that you can stay connected like this. You know what I love about this app is that you can use it while you're cooking or while you're driving, and you can just turn it on and then people can call you, and then you can be present and have those off times and then take a relationship to the next level. And a lot of times there's so many people that we meet and we wish we had enough time to really build on that relationship. And when there are so many people you want to connect with, especially like coming from an event like ours on Saturday. And so this is it. This is where you're here with us. We feel you here right now. You are right here with us, Debbie.
And we're
Oh.
keeping the vibration high together.
Yeah. But you know what? You always say this, Wendy, and Jason does too. But it is truly all about connection. And when you look at your event, when you look at the OWL app, on OWL specifically too, like I've talked to people on this app that in a million years I never would have had the opportunity to talk to. And, some of them have been people that prospectively could be clients, but others were just so great to talk to. And now I know what they do. And if there's someone that, can use their services, I can recommend them. But it's just an amazing opportunity to sort of just step out of your comfort zone and have these conversations and meet people that you never would have had the ability to talk to before.
And
it's really cool.
It's not even just people calling you, it's you calling them. And it's
Correct.
like networking all the time, networking in your pocket, so to speak. Like anytime you feel like networking, you say, let me turn on the app, let me see who I can call, because it's unbelievable to be able to get an expert for $1, or $5 or whatever it is. These are people that you normally wouldn't have access to, like at a whim. To say I want to do this, it sort of reminds me. It like goes so much more deeper. It's like Clubhouse really took off during COVID, but OWL has so many more layers that are part of it. So really, truly, it is networking on steroids, and then the live podcast. So, what is? Do you have a question for anybody here on the panel, Debbie?
Oh, I don't, but I was going to add one more thing to what you just said.
Sure.
So I kept my price at $1 on the OWL app forever. Like I've never changed it, because for me, I don't look at OWL personally as like a revenue generator. For me, it's more about the connection and having the ability to talk to and network with people. So that's why I kept it with $1. So, so questions for the panel. Interesting. I guess more or less I'll ask twofold, and this will take over with our book launch as well as for Jason with OWL. So looking back over the weekend, I know like Suzette, you had a booth there, and Jason, obviously you had the podcast area. I would love to hear if you guys feel like, how did that work for business? Like Suzette, did you gain clients? Jason, did you have downloads? How was the event this weekend impactful for you guys on your businesses specifically?
Well, for me, that the answer to that question is still unfolding, because I made a lot of contacts. I met a lot of new people. And I sat down yesterday and spent some time sort of making my list of who I need to follow up with. And it's pretty big. So that to me is really exciting, because as much as an event is about serving and showing up for people. It's also about making those profound connections. And one of the things that I personally love about OWL so much is, like, Clubhouse was great, but it's like a group thing. So I feel like OWL is truly about connection. When you connect with somebody on social media, it's kind of a back and forth thing. Like, you send them a DM, you have to wait, they get back to you. And, you know, things are, let's face it, you know, social media can be filtered and not always 100% realistic. And I think with this app, actually having a conversation with somebody really builds that strong connection. You really get to share parts of yourself, and you really get to know and understand people at a different level. So to answer your question, I would say the event was a raging success in the number of people that I was able to connect to, the number of connections that I made, both locally and across the country. So I am certain that I will see that unfold into many different opportunities.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. I
Yeah,
love
me
that
too.
so much because,
Mm.
you know, the idea of connecting one to one is really, really so impactful and so important. And so it just feels good when you can connect one to one. I know for me, when I make, and I made many connections on Saturday, I didn't speak at the event, but I was there as a volunteer. I was there to connect, I was there to network. When I got someone who reached out to me after the event and said, "Hey, I loved talking to you. Let's continue talking." That meant so much to me. I like lit up inside. I like said, "Oh wow, okay." And that's what this app is also about, that people reach out and then you can continue with it even after you connect on the app. And then, you know, we all need to be connected. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, the personal connection is you can't put a it's the best, especially from the work that I do. I'm in a very fragile subject matter of what I discuss, and just the calls that I got in last night, it was just so one-on-one and warm and caring and helpful, and it's an amazing app for that purpose.
I think we have another caller coming in.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your
Yeah.
time. I'll see you guys. I love all your beautiful faces. Thank you so much for everything this past weekend. I loved it. The book is amazing. And if you haven't gotten it yet, I think it's coming out when? May 1st, Wendy?
It's coming out the second week of May.
Second week of May. Okay. Perfect. Awesome, you guys. Thank you
Okay,
all.
we'd love to hear
Thanks,
back from
Debbie.
you a little bit later this morning.
Okay, I'll call you later. I'm going to go work out now.
Okay.
Okay.
Work out for us.
Yeah.
Do a workout for us.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye.
So, you know, talking about
review and then go back online.
Oh, leave her a review. Can
You control it from here. You just
Okay.
know how to use it.
all right, perfect.
oh, that's
Yeah.
how it works. Okay.
That's what I did last night.
Learning
Yeah.
on as we go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And you know, we're talking about connection, about, you know, how can we be in relationships? How can we be supportive of each other? How can we learn from each other? All of that is part of what I do, which is mental health. And let me just say that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so it's a great way to kick off today with, you know, just being connected in community. Because, you know, we have been really so lonely and there's an epidemic of loneliness. So Owl app is really a way to connect again and not be alone in the world. It's beautiful.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love the review feature here so much because it automatically gives you an opportunity, pops up to take it another step further. There's so many times you connect with someone and it's a wow, but think about how often you go and give them a review. Probably, hardly ever, maybe never.
Right.
And so this is a reminder that whenever there's a wow factor about anything, whether it's like one-on-one in a coaching call or going to an event or reading a book, to actually, it helps the person so much. Like that, I think Debbie she has 118 5-star reviews. I think we can see that there. Kathy Mila already has only been on the app like 2 days and she has 2 reviews. Ellie's got 351, right? So like it's really amazing. And that's a gift that doesn't cost us anything to do, is to give somebody a review. Like Wendy Shore has 8 reviews. This is like so phenomenal. I love this feature.
I love that because a lot of times you have no idea how people will receive the information you're giving them, or you have no idea the impact that even just a little suggestion or a little bit of your expertise really helps somebody. So to give them a real live review at the time, I think is so powerful.
Yeah. And I think too, we're all here to be of service and to serve the communities that we love and support. And for me, like Saturday, Rachel came up to me right after I spoke and shared how impacted she was by what I had to say. And if I had not made one more connection the rest of the day, if nothing else had happened to me in that moment, it was all worth it, because that's why I do what I do, is to have that impact. So when you share with somebody what they've done for you and how they've made you feel, again, it drives that connection. It drives that dopamine. Like that's why we're here. And I love that feedback, because we hear a lot of negativity sometimes in the world. And I think it's really, really important that when something happens that's exciting, we give that feedback.
Yeah, and they have built that right into the app. And you can go on when you're looking to see that you want to connect with someone. Like we know for Google, right? We go into Google, and if someone has a lot of reviews, that's the person we're calling. And it doesn't matter what area, what industry they're in. We just look for the person with the most reviews. So that, to have that feature built in here is so incredible. And it's like a reminder, really, to actually do that, like do those reviews. Let's see who else we have here. I love that we have so many, because so many of us that are here on the app, we're new on the app, right? I've been on for a while, but from Saturday's event, I don't know, I think there were like 40 people that went through the live podcast studio. And so they are learning about this new opportunity. And it's so cool. And when we learn these new things, it allows us to grow, I think, personally and professionally. I also love about it is that it is a practicing opportunity to really get your messaging dialed in. And so you can use it in that same way and test out different things. You can test them out. And so if you're thinking about, a certain tagline for your business, or you're thinking about a new lead magnet or launching a new program, you can sort of test it out. You can tell, like, I'm thinking about launching this, like, and then you can find another expert that maybe has done what you're thinking about doing and ask them questions. And you can do it for maybe $1. Maybe $1. Where is it?
And what can you get in the world these days for $1?
Not a coffee.
Really,
Nothing.
no, definitely not
Like
a coffee.
zero, nothing.
Not a coffee you want to drink anyway.
No, that is for sure.
I love the fact that also you can connect globally. It's not just local.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing how many people you can reach.
Okay, so I am like reaching out to a couple people here on the app. All right, I'm going to see if I can call live. I am going to call Wendy Shore. Oh, she's not available. Okay, well, I'm glad. See, it's teamwork. Teamwork is dream work. Lets you know who is available. I'm going to see if I can reach Kathy Mila. Let's see. I'm calling Kathy Mila right now. Let's see if she comes on.
Cindy went online right after.
Oh, she did go online.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, we have
Oh,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Mela.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi. We were hoping we could catch you.
Yeah, I'm driving in the car. It's a little weird because I called somebody this morning on Owl and I can't get it to connect to my car phone. It's so weird. My car phone is blocking it, it says.
Okay. Well, my car phone, like when I'm switched, sometimes I just have to put it on speaker on my cell phone. I just like give up trying to get it to connect to and that's not on Al. That's just like in general. So you let
Yeah.
us know how it's working for you. This sounds okay.
But this time it connected to my headset. Oh, last time it wouldn't connect to my headset. At least it
All right, you're
connected to my
good.
headset.
You're
Yeah, I'm
you're
good.
good.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, that's perfect.
It was
So how's it going over there?
It was
We're-
meant to be.
Yeah, we're having a ball.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
Awesome.
It's an awesome app, and of course, to be surrounded by these powerhouse women is
Now,
amazing.
you've gotten 2 calls. So can you tell us about those calls? We see you have 2 5-star ratings, and so you've already used the app. Like what kind of questions, or were people helping you because they could see that you were new? What's the experience been for you?
One lady was actually, I've had several people, so I do have questions about the app, but like there's people that are sending me that they want to call with me, but I'm not online at that time. And I'm wondering, like, how do I get back in touch with them? Anyways, that's what happened. Actually, on my way home from the event Saturday, a woman, because I've got yoga in my list, she's a yoga teacher in New York, reached out to me. And so then when I got home, I went online for a few minutes and she called me. So we had a nice conversation. Yeah, it went really well. Yeah, very nice lady, does a lot of like helping tips. She, again, I talked to her. I always like to know what people do and, a little bit about her strategies with yoga. And then I shared a little bit about what I do and we had a nice conversation. And this morning I had a very nice conversation with Kelly Olive. And I know I've spoke with her before, but it was nice to just be able to chat. However, I think we got carried away because suddenly Owl kicked us off because we didn't say we
The
wanted
10
more
minutes.
time.
It happened to us. It happened. Like we can see we have 7 minutes, so you have to keep checking the time.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. You can request to extend. You can add more time. If someone's not online, you can request that they go online. So if you miss somebody's call or something of that sort, then when you go on, then you can request for them to go on. So it's a matter of just trying to figure out that there's like not a way for you to then, call them at home or something. So
Right.
it's
So I
all
just
through
go
the
to like
app.
their profile and
You go to their
request them to-
profile and you'll see
Okay.
on the bottom
Oh, okay.
right-hand side, it will say request to go live. Now, of course, they have to see it and they have to be available. So it might take you a little time to do that, but it's no different than when someone sends their calendar and you're trying to figure out a date to actually
Right.
connect. It's same sort of thing there.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm liking it. I'm playing around with it. It's a cool new technology.
So what were your comments and thoughts about the event on Saturday?
The event was fabulous. I mean, it always has been, and yet I feel like every year it just keeps getting better and bigger and more powerful. Yeah, I mean, there were so many. The speakers were great. Got so many tips and strategies from really every single speaker and every panel speaker. And then I didn't get to all the vendors, but we had some great vendors there. I did get to do the brief interview on the Owl podcast at the event. That was cool, and I haven't yet looked in at my podcast recording yet, but I did get it the other day, so that's cool, and that was really nice. But really, the biggest thing that I love that you added this year was the networking. Really having that time to network and having the ability to connect with people. That was really, that always warms my heart. The connections, building the relationship.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that input as well. Do you have any questions for anybody here on the panel?
So who's on the panel?
We have Suzette, we have Eileen, and we have Lynn.
Oh, okay. Well, I get to talk to Eileen and Lynn tonight. We have a call.
Yeah.
So
You're
that's really
forming a
cool.
partnership, and that partnership
Yeah,
as so that collaboration is being birthed out of the community, and that is the whole premise that is really the vision of the Speakers and Coaches Networking Society and the Unleash Expert Academy, is for people to come together, to be able to collaborate together, to be able to bring their expertise and then multiply the impact to be able to reach more people. So that's fantastic that you were talking about doing what's the name of the summit?
we haven't come up with the name yet. I don't
We
think.
haven't come up with
Oh,
the name.
oh yeah, we talked about pro aging.
Pro
Aging
aging, yeah.
Summit.
Okay, Pro Aging Summit, right? Well,
Yeah.
you know, you're talking to the right
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking to the pro on the aging part. Like we're all pro on that.
Because we're
So,
all very pro aging and we're not anti aging.
Yes,
That's
we love that.
yeah, yeah. And the best is yet to come.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the best is yet
yeah,
to come, and we have the experience behind us that we've lived life and really know that we're better together, and there are resources that are available, and that when we pull our wisdom, that is really how we first off how we can do it, how we can
yeah,
create a movement, and the world is like ready for a movement. That's what Al has done. That's what Jason has done here. He's created a movement of
yeah,
people being able to be in movement and still be networking and not have to be at a
yeah,
networking event.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
This
What
is really,
about
really cool.
for Suzette? You have a question or comment for Suzette?
I mean, I haven't talked to Suzette a lot. I think we talked a little bit at the photo shoot. I'd like to know more about what she does.
Oh,
I'd like
Kathy, I
her to
just
share that
You
with
you
us.
you you
thank
teeter up
you.
perfectly.
Thank you. I work primarily with women and young girls in building confidence and reconnecting to their inner power, because I think a lot of times, my transition into this type of coaching came out of doing health coaching, because when I started doing health coaching, I was recognizing with a lot of the women that I was working with was it wasn't about needing to know about nutrition or what to do in the gym. It was about connecting to this belief that they were worthy and deserving of being their best selves. And I think, especially as women, we tend to pour our cup completely out before we even start to have a conversation or a thought about what we want to do for ourselves. And that's what I help them reconnect to, because we tend to give up our self worth. We give up what we feel like we deserve. And it's time to stop doing that, because we are all beautiful and just who we are. We don't need to be perfect. We don't need to do anything more than what we're doing right now. And I'm a huge fan of growth and expansion and all of that. And at the same time, you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. And that is the part that it's important to connect to, is accept and love who you are today. And that will enable you to proceed powerfully into whoever you want to become.
I love that. That's so wonderful that you're doing that for younger women. And we may be coming and chatting with you for our pro aging summit, because we need to bring that self confidence and that self worth into the pro aging movement too, because a lot of women have not learned that along the way. And one of when Malvina on Saturday talked about self confidence versus self worth, it really impacted me. It was really a powerful talk, because I know I've been self confident a lot in life, but I wasn't always feeling worthy. And helping women understand the difference and grow in both of those things, that self confidence and self worth. Thank you, Suzette. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I think that, the fact that as women, we really have fallen into the whole, idea of starting with shame. And that's what self worth is all about, and self confidence is all about, is shame. And that's such a big, big, topic that we can all learn from one another about.
Yeah, shame. One of my favorite things is, shame lives in the dark. And we've
Yeah.
all done things that we wish we hadn't done. And we've all had those moments where we're like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
I mean, even from the time when we get our period and it's called curse, or it's called, I mean, euphemistically, your friend.
Thank you, Kathy,
Um,
for being on. We're going to disconnect it. Disconnected. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm trying to let you guys all see when the timing
Oh, okay.
is there.
Okay.
You have to click it right
Um,
away. I
yeah.
know I did that
Oh,
last
So you
night.
just have to watch that you
Okay.
wind down that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we get involved in this great
Right.
conversation.
And you're making a
And-
really great point right now.
Yeah.
Totally. So keep going while I'm just
And
giving.
that just continues throughout the lifespan of women. That, like even postpartum, we're ashamed of our bodies postpartum. Even being pregnant, a lot of times women are, I mean, now it's getting more and more. I love the fact that women are really showing their bellies and they're, out there. But I think a lot of women are still very ashamed of their bodies changing during, pregnancy, postpartum. And then, of course, the shame of not being able to reproduce anymore, the shame of aging. All of these things are really sort of ingrained in a woman's.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey,
Hi.
hello, good morning.
Good
Hi.
morning. Good morning, Miami and Maxine. Are you with David as well?
Not at the moment. He's actually with a client.
Okay.
Wendy.
We are talking to, and I'm going to see if I can pull it up so you can see. You're going to see it on the screen here in one moment. And we are talking to Maxine Gomez.
Oh, hi, Max.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Max.
Hi. Pleasure
Awesome.
to be here.
Oh my goodness, I love that you set up your profile. So I saw that you listed yourself as a mold expert, and that's such
Yes,
an
I'm the girl I hope you never need.
yes.
But if we do, you're the one.
And a lot of people
that's
unfortunately
right.
need what you do. So really appreciate that as well. So we have Lynn Robin here. I'm just going to share with you who's in the house. And we have Eileen Lemelman and Suzette Bravo.
Woohoo. All right. Hi, ladies. Thank
Hello.
you.
Maxine, I have a question for you.
Tell
How
me.
has it been a woman in a very, very male dominated, industry? How has that been for you?
Well, you have to leverage your assets, right? Haha, pun intended, right? Listen, to be honest, well, it has the fun connotation in that as a woman bringing a woman's touch to the construction industry, most of the time when you're dealing with residential properties, it's usually the woman of the house that's there to receive you. And oftentimes contractors come in, they don't have the patience to walk somebody through what's going on. Whereas our approach is to wrap around the client and say, hey, we're going to walk you through this. We're not using scare tactics. And so they just immediately calm down seeing a woman there that has the patience and understanding for them rather than a contractor that just comes in there and railroads them. So that has been a really wonderful experience for me, being able to get in the door and earn people's trust and treat them kindly the way we do. And, at the same time, you get a lot of pushback from contractors that are, like, hey, what's a woman doing in this industry? But I always try to play nice and let them know that you probably know more than I do. I'm just staying in my lane and here to help. And we're all part of a team to get the client to the end goal. And when they see that I'm not a competition, but that I'm an ally, that calms them down too. And then I become a resource to them. So no matter,
Collaboration is the key.
Absolutely. And at some point, we have to have a little acceptance as well for where other people are coming from. I deal with a lot of older men, maybe in their 70s, that come from, the Midwest or the Bible Belt, where they were brought up with, a different kind of mentality. I even deal with a lot of women that I've met that when I get to the house, they're like, oh, did your dad start this? Or is this your husband's business? You're a woman, you're allowed to own a business. Like, I even hear this from women. So, I have a lot of tolerance when those comments come from men as well. And you learn to just let those things roll off your shoulder and educate them about that too. No, actually, this is my company. I started it. Yes, we are women. Yes, we can do this in the world. And this is what makes us great at what we do. And I'm here to be a resource for you. So you can't take those things personally. You know, I'm steel toes and stilettos for a reason because you got to be a little tough, but you got to know when to soften. And you got to know that those comments aren't coming as personal attacks. They're coming from their own experience. So all we can do is lead by example and be the best at what we do so that we change our reputation and know that we've earned our place in the industry.
I guess what you're talking about also is educating the public because, you know, I remember when I was a kid, we wouldn't, you know, it had to be a male doctor, you know, because
Yes.
for that same reason. So we're educating the you know, the public, the world, and, you know, other people that women are out there to do their thing. We're just as capable and confident.
Absolutely. I always, when I teach the state licensing course to my contractors, I tell them that we are more than anything in the business of education. And if you leave a client's home and they still have questions, then you didn't do your job. Because mold is a really new industry. There's so much technology. Building science hasn't caught up with it. Medical science hasn't caught up with it. And so this is really the time to be patient with our clients and explain to them what happened, what's causing it, why you're feeling a certain way, and guide them through the process of feeling better and bringing their property back to healthy and teaching them how to maintain it. So, you know, I always say, I laugh and kid around and say that if people remembered to change their air filters, I would have been out of business long ago. And people think that that's something that you should be doing just because someone told you to. But when I'm there and I explain to them why it's necessary, then they get the education in indoor air quality, which is exactly what you're saying. We're really in the business of education.
I think it's great that you're on the app too, because there aren't a lot of resources out there. And if you just Google it, you can be overwhelmed. And then you call a company to try to get some help. And it's just completely, usually when somebody, first, you know, whether it's a medical issue that comes up, or they suspect something's going on in their home, that's a really, really big deal. Personally, in our family, we've had the issue with both my sons. Okay, we have somebody. I want to say to Dr. Serena Goldstein, if you are watching, we are going to take your call next. I just want to let you know because I can see you calling here a couple times, so we will bring you on the app. Have you gotten any calls here this morning, Maxine?
Yes, I spoke with one gentleman named Brian, and he was very welcoming, telling me about the app. So that was really great. I love this idea because for my clients, they only find me when they really need me. Either something tragic happened in your home or your health has deteriorated to the point where you're desperate enough to find me. And by the time, you know, for my kind of I'm an expert witness and I do peer reviews for attorneys. They pay me a lot of money for that. But I want to make sure that people who have questions and want to get better have the access to me so that I can answer these questions for people and I become more available because yes, I get paid in other ways very well, but for people who really need me, I just want to be a resource to them. So I think that this platform is fantastic.
Yeah, you know, that way, my goodness, even word of mouth, like someone who's on the app that knows somebody will be able to connect them with you. So even if the person isn't directly on the app, to get them on the app and figure out a way to do that. So, any words of wisdom that you have for someone who is thinking about becoming an author?
Becoming an author. Yes, absolutely. Please share your story. It is your responsibility to pass on what does they say that after you have walked through the paths of hell, it's your responsibility to pass the buckets of water back to those left behind. I think that's a little bit of authorship, you know, that if you don't tell your story, then others don't have the blueprint of inspiration for their life. So don't be shy. I know, especially that with this group of speakers and authors that you've created, that you basically incubate them and support them. And everybody is talking about something totally different. And yet we all have a story to tell and others that will benefit from it. So don't be shy. Join us. Tell your story.
Well, people think that it's not possible for them. Like, who am I to become an author? I know I did. It's just like so daunting. That was for authors, and I wasn't an author, right? But it's possible for anybody and everybody to become an author. And it first just starts with shifting your identity to actually see somebody that you don't really traditionally see as an author, and you see it happen for them, and then it opens the door that it could be possible for them as well. So thank you
But
so
it's
much.
so I'll just add that, I'm a blue collar worker. I run a restoration company. I never thought of myself as an author either. And I think some people have the stigma that they need to be like Walt Whitman to be a published author. But no, you're telling your story in your own words with your personality. You don't have to be an expert writer to get the words on page. And yeah, so don't be intimidated. Share your story. And there are people here like you, Wendy, that will help others through the process of getting it from idea to published page. And I'm thankful to you for that.
Yeah, and not have to do it alone. Community. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on with us here today.
Thank you for calling.
Max,
So nice
and
to hear
all of
you,
our
ladies.
listeners and those that are watching live on LinkedIn, make sure to connect with Maxine here on LinkedIn. Actually, Max, if you leave a comment in the section on the live stream, then they will be able to find you. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Let's see who our next caller is. I think Patricia's going to come in with us. It's going to take us a minute to reboot. We've got multiple phones going with phone calls coming in. So we're going to see if we can check the notification of our last caller that was coming in on our other line. Let's see here. We're going to go over here. Well, Dr. Goldstein has called us 4 times. So I think we really have to call Dr. Goldstein. Thank you, Dr. Goldstein, for hanging in there. Let's see if we can go ahead and get this going. We might need to ask Jason to give us a reboot, if that's possible, if Jason Hill can hear us. He's here in the studio. Lynn, maybe you can grab Jason for us. Okay, Ellie's going to get him for us and then help us on the reboot. And then for Dr. Goldstein, thank you so much for hanging in there. I want to go ahead and check out your profile right now. And let's see if we can do that right here. We're going to look for you. I love the search feature. We're going to go there. And then we're going to go here. And here we're just frozen over here. Hi, Benny. Benny's in the house.
Yeah, bad internet. There's too much clog in the internet.
Okay.
So
Well, some of those calls
we're
are
going to
from-
blame that all on Comcast and Xfinity. Their internet is horrible. If you're out there listening, I've complained 14 times that our internet stalls. So we're live streaming and then doing OWL simultaneously.
Yeah,
It's just logged, unfortunately.
I got you. Could we find Dr. Goldstein? She called us 4 times. So let's see if we can get her first name. Do you know who she is, Jason?
Serena.
Is she under your group?
Dr. Serena.
I don't know. I don't know that she's in the group, but she's called 4 times consecutive. So,
You couldn't pick up, you're saying?
well, we were on another call. So
Who was
had,
she calling?
she was calling my phone over here. I guess I'm on this phone.
Oh,
So Serena Goldstein.
log out on OWL on your phone to prevent any issues from duplication.
Okay. So let me.
So log out. She's not available right now.
Oh, she's not? Dr.
But
Goldstein's not
log
available?
out. No, unfortunately, she is not.
Okay, so I'm going to completely log out here. This is behind the scenes, everyone. This is what you do. Let's see. It's taking a moment.
Well, they can't see your screen, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
You're
Well,
logged out, but
let's see.
we're logged
we
in
have-
here. So anyone out there, here
I think
is Wendy.
Patricia was going to.
Here is Wendy. There we go.
Oh, there,
Oh, there she is. Yay.
She's listening.
Oh,
Okay.
she is.
Okay, can you guys hear Dr. Serena?
Oh, and she's in Delray.
Oh, I am.
Hi.
Well, thanks for not
There
giving
we
up
go.
on us. It is such a pleasure to meet
Right.
you. Can you hear us okay?
Hello.
Okay.
Then I saw your name pop up again.
Oh, fantastic. I was trying to
Yeah.
circle back around while we were on the other call.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. Well, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for almost 3 decades. So what you do is just so meaningful and to
Oh,
look at
thank
the
you.
whole big picture. So really appreciate your call. Do you have a question for us, or do you have a share today?
No, I mean, well, part of it was calling in because, I'm just curious to learn a little more. But also I actually do know Coach Benny Salas personally. So I got excited when I saw his name there.
Oh, do you hear that, Benny? Benny is coming into the studio right now. We're going to prep him up. And so, all right, let's bring Benny on. Let's see. We're going to bring Benny on. You're going to see. We're also Benny. We're on LinkedIn over here, so we'll slide over a little bit to give Benny some wiggle room.
Yeah, and I'm sure I have a couple of questions for you guys too when it comes to speaking and
Are you a speaker? Have you written a book? Tell us about you.
yeah, so as a naturopathic doctor, I do work a lot with people, yes, from the natural and of course, conventional realm as well. Where I get to look through their blood work, we could do all the specialized testing, and then, all right, how do we take the least invasive measure and then tailor a plan to them? I've done a lot of writing, so that was kind of what I started with. Like I've been published in Mind, Body, Green, Forbes, Shape.com. And then a number of years ago, I spoke at an autoimmune and endocrinology conference. So I've given workshops. I've done a lot of speaking, yes, for those bigger stages per se. But one of my passions is also speaking professionally as well. Just in my own practice, I've noticed a lot of mind, body, soul connections. So I'm pretty big on listening to the body, really tapping into that intuition. So I do try to bring a lot of that into speaking.
Well, I can tell you I've been to a lot of medical conferences
Mm.
over the years. So to be able to introduce a holistic conversation in that regard from a professional like yourself is I think there's never been a better time for you
Yeah.
to speak even globally and to be able to do it
Mhm.
through all the different channels that are available. So it's such a great honor to connect with you today.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, so I guess some questions would be just as far as would be around stage presence, just some of your favorite tips for engaging the audience, and then reading the room.
Well, both Benny and I can jump into that. Benny, do you want to start off?
Sure. Let me speak into the mic. Can you hear me okay here?
Yes, I can.
How you doing, Dr. Goldstein? We met back in, was it August?
I know. Well, that I was saying that was part of why I called in because I got
Awesome.
all excited when I saw your name. It's like, oh, a familiar face.
Well, first of all,
It's
good.
always
Yeah,
nice.
good to hear you and glad to see you continuing this work. I would say, so you said in terms of stage presence, I think always the most important thing is really understanding how your story fits into the message. Right.
Mm.
So I think that's always critical. I was just on a call with somebody and they were giving me, he's a client of mine, he's giving me his whole presentation. And I asked him, I said, where's your story fit in here? Because I'm hearing a lot of data. I'm hearing a lot of data points without any talking points. And I think that's a big mistake, especially for somebody where data is really important. So data for you is important, knowing the numbers, knowing, what
Right.
everything looks like it only lends to your expertise. But one thing that nobody can give you is the power of your story. And so knowing your why is everything. And so how you premise that and how you layer your talking points, your topic, your takeaways, your take action, all of those elements are so important. And so I would go and this is why you need to get on podcasts. This is why you got to create content on social media. I think people underestimate the power of practicing. When you get reps in and you get repetition in, you just get good and you get confident. And so I feel
Right.
like the biggest mistake we make is we're just overthinking and undervaluing, right? We're undervaluing, like you're an expert at what you do. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So there's nothing I can tell you about what you do that you don't already know.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is communicating that to me that who doesn't know it. And I think sometimes as speakers and communicators, we just overthink this thing instead of just really going out there,
Yeah.
owning our story and commanding the room and the stage. Some of those elements, like, tonality, pause, hand gestures, body language, humor, you start to figure that out when you're on stage. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you can fake
Mm-hmm.
it till you make it, but if you're funny, you're funny. If you're not funny, don't try to be funny. I mean, it's real
Right.
simple. Like like there's certain things about you that you know better
Fair
than
enough.
you. So I think we tend to think all of that matters, and I'll be honest with you, that's really secondary. What's primary is your why, your what, and your who. And when you align those
Mm-hmm.
three, you're going to be dynamic on stage.
Okay. Yeah, those are definitely some good tips.
I so second what you said, because as a non-speaker stepping into coaching and really knowing, because I left the pharmaceutical industry the year that I turned
Mm.
50, and I knew in order to impact more people that I needed to go from one to one to one to many. And I believe that it is important to have a book, and it is very important to speak on
Mm-hmm.
stages. And because I was so intimidated in a room of entrepreneurs, I was used to working with medical professionals. I was comfortable there. So what I did was I printed out my mission statement. And I led, even sharing what my mission was. I carried it with me. I actually had it framed. I had it next to on my nightstand, next to my bed, and I had it on my office desk. So I was always reminded. That way, too, when I was also addressing the audience, I'm thinking about the impact that I'm making. So going from the thinking mind and thinking about what you're saying to the feeling, because people in the audience, you want to activate their emotions. And that's when they
Mm-hmm.
make that connection, because like
Right.
listening to doctors, right? Going medical, like, there was one doctor that I called on, and he was the chief of medicine down at Jackson. Oh, was he great? I mean, he was so funny. He was so personable. He called people by their name. He really addressed the audience. He made everybody feel connected. So that made him a dynamic, very engaging speaker. And it already sounds like that's your personality naturally, even from having
Mm-hmm.
this conversation here today. So you can even probably unleash that depending on your audience and audience size and that sort of thing. And also to
Mm-hmm.
like move around, like with comfort, like podiums, and that kind of thing, to have anything that's in
Yeah.
front of you, like a desk, like to allow yourself to really connect and move around the stage. I mean, for me, that is personally, something that I'm drawn into from a speaker. And it's not so much about the slides. And again, with all the data and all the statistics and that sort of thing, is
Right.
really let people see you as a person, starting with your family, starting with your favorite holiday or something that you do, so
Yeah.
they can see you beyond just being the medical practitioner to being a human being, and that they connect with you as a person.
Okay. So I think it will be tailored towards, of course, the audience. So, of course, if it's a conference and, there's continuing ed,
Sure,
there's
of
will
course.
be, like the more research. But what I also caught from there, I do like the idea of the podcast too, because that is great practice. But what I also heard from you is, because we have multiple stories. Do you mind if I add 5 more
Yes,
minutes?
please. I was just going to say that.
Okay. Because sometimes what I find is we can have
It didn't
multiple
add just
stories.
yet. If you can try again,
Oh.
it just didn't go through.
Oh, sure. Oh, it said it's been sent.
Okay. It has. If we disconnect, just call back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're running. The clock is running down. I feel like
Okay,
we're
so I'll call back
it's a
then.
football game or something. The clock. All right.
End of the quarter. Game over.
Okay. Let's see what happens here. All right. So we got a call back. Jason, I know that we're having a little bit of technology issue with because we're multi-streaming. And so we just the call. Dr. Serena was trying to add time. And we didn't see it come through, and this is not activating at all.
It's Comcast.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, we've got it.
Just keep talking.
Okay.
So you know what I liked what you said was about your mission. I think that one of the most important areas, at least the first area for me, before we even talk about your message, we really got to talk about your mission. Like I got to know your why, because I think that determines everything around your message. I really do. So I think if more people just understood that, and they connected, why do you want to speak, not just what do you want to speak on, I think they would have greater impact. I really do.
Yeah, it's the mindset, right? If you're thinking about like I want to convert clients, I want to, build like you think about really why you are on that stage, and we can always feel the speaker that are really passionate about their topic, and they then weave in the story as to the why, and then we are able to connect those dots and connect.
100%.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. But that was great. And there is a seasoned speaker that is already speaking that is looking to even grow their impact because here we go here. Let's see. All right. We're going live. Up. I think double calls came in. So if you can try us back, Dr. Serena and Rebecca. Let's see. Here we go. Stand by. Okay, we're live.
Oh, there we
We're
go.
back.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, great. All right. So we've got 10 minutes on the clock. So we're back.
Yeah.
Did you have another question for the panel here? We have Suzette Bravo, Women's Empowerment, and Eileen Lemmelman working with Pro Aging, and Lynn Robin as well. End of life advisor, and then we have Mr. Benny over here in the house, who is a speaker trainer expert.
Well, let me ask Serena. So you were saying you were ending the last call, and you said,
Are
so
you
you
here,
need to have
Serena?
multiple stories.
I don't think she's here.
Oh,
I think
she's
we lost her.
No, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're available again, and we are here till 12:30. We just have multiple things going on here at the same time. We're going to have Rebecca. Rebecca?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, excellent. We've got you.
Yay, yay. Well, I didn't want to interrupt the lady that was going to call back, but now that I have you, you're stuck with me.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully Dr. Serena will try us back again. And so thank you so much for being here. Great to be connected again. We met early on when I first came on the app.
Yes, we did. And just to and thank.
And we lost her.
Yeah. Technology is a thing. It happens all the time. I was watching somebody that I don't know personally, but somebody who's a very big speaker, and she was speaking at an event. I think she had 5,000 people at the event. And that was like her moment. And all of the technology went out. Literally, she had nothing. She had no light. She had no slides. She was live at an event with 5,000 people. And during her talk, everything went out. And actually, no, I'll tell you who it was in a second. Her name is escaping me for half a second. But I remember speaking. Okay, got Rebecca again. Okay. All right, Rebecca, you're back.
I was just yakking away. I didn't even know the call didn't come through. But anyway, thank you for the introduction.
Are you there, Rebecca?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
Perfect. Did you have a question that you wanted
Yes.
to kick off with?
Yes, I do have a question. So what would be your I'm asking the panel, what would be the best advice for someone who hasn't spoken in front of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of people, but thousands? Is there a difference between a small audience from, 20 to 30 to 100 to 200 to a larger audience?
Well, I don't know who here on this panel has spoken in front of thousands and thousands of people. I don't know if anybody here has.
3,000.
Okay, so 3,000. I've spoken to 1,000. And then we also have Lynn, Eileen, and Suzette, who are speakers, and they speak at various different size audience. So maybe we'll all kind of jump in here. And if you haven't spoken in front of a big group, like what you would imagine that would be like, and then we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you and ask you what your experience has been as well. But why don't we start with you, Suzette?
Well, I've spoken mostly to smaller audiences, and I imagine when I think about speaking in front of thousands, it's
How many
interesting.
were in the room? Sorry to interrupt here, but for pace, because I was in the room and that room was really big and filled.
Well,
So how
yeah,
many people were there?
they're about 450. I
Okay,
think 400,
right.
450.
Yeah.
So, okay, I take that back. Yes. Funny how we block things out, but it goes back to what Benny was saying. When it's about the message that you're putting out there, when it's about kind of like what your soul is up there fulfilling in that moment, I kind of it becomes less important how many people are in the audience, and it just you kind of for me, I get lost in what I'm saying. And you connect with a few people in the audience because you're always sort of looking out there, but it's about the message, it's about what you're bringing forward, and it's almost like for me sometimes it's almost like a channeling experience.
I love that. I love that. And that's really it wasn't about the numbers. It was really about your feeling, your connection with the audience. That was really my question, but thank you. Keep going.
So I have spoken in small groups and medium-sized groups. I don't think I've ever spoken in a really large arena or venue. But what I will say is that for me, the most important thing when I'm speaking is my authenticity, because an audience can determine if you're authentic or not. And that doesn't matter what size audience you're speaking to. That has to do with me speaking. And I have to be authentic, I have to be real, and I have to really be able to share that message with the audience, and they have to believe me. So I would say, stay authentic to your message, stay authentic to who you are as a person, because, whether you're talking to an individual or a group, they're going to be able to identify whether you're real or not.
Awesome.
I love that.
I love that too. Yeah, authenticity. I've spoken to smaller groups of people, and I feel for me to get my message out to the group is I like to share personal testimonials, because for me, I feel like that's a direct connection to the audience, that they could possibly, if one person can relate to the story. I actually do, like Suzette said, I get lost in what I'm sharing with the audience. So I don't even see them there. I look over their heads. It takes away any nervousness for me. I just look over everyone, and I'm focusing on my purpose of what I'm trying to share with the audience. And I just feel like the testimonials are from the heart, are really powerful.
I love that too.
Awesome.
All right, it's my turn now after you've gotten all that good stuff. I would say so. The question was, is there a difference between a big audience and a small audience, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I always like to think that I'm speaking to the power of one. And I'm really speaking to that one person. And so I think what makes it, obviously, when you're speaking to a group of hundreds or thousands, whatever, you have to prepare more. You have to command the room. I like to say, you have to take the room temperature, right? And that makes a big difference. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I've been more nervous in a smaller room than I have in a bigger room, because they're like right in front of me. And so it almost can almost it requires more, believe it or not. I think when you're in a bigger audience or there's a bigger crowd, but think about this. Think about if let's say you shot something on social media and it went viral and thousands of people saw it. So thousands of people are seeing your stuff anyways. right? I think there's a difference. There is a difference between understanding our what we call OPSs, other people's stages, our virtual stages, other people's platforms. So I think once we remove that mindset, because I think there's a saying that I have, and it says that people don't fear public speaking; they fear the public speaking. Right? Our biggest fear is not what we're going to say. Our biggest fear is what other people are going to say around us, say about us, not accept us or reject us. And so I think the sooner you accept your power, the sooner you accept that you're great at who you are and nobody can tell your story, it wouldn't matter if it's a small or big audience because you'll show up. And so I think it's all about framework and formula. I think it's all about strategy and structure. I think if you focus on that, you're gonna see like I think there's a different version of you that shows up, right? There's a different like there's a podcast version of you, there's a webinar, there's a keynote version of you, there's a seminar, there's a retreat version of you, there's a meeting version of you, there's a social media content version of you. You have to understand there's many verticals to when you say an audience, right? And so you could do a webinar and hundreds of people show up. That's an audience. That's hundreds of people watching you. To me, sometimes that's more nerve wracking than actually getting in front of a live audience. So I would say it matters and then it doesn't. It's just a different version of you that shows up.
I agree. And one of the things I want to say to you is I love what you said about being funny. If you're funny, you are. And if you're not, don't try to be.
I've seen a lot of people try to be funny and it didn't work out.
And you know what? My husband was on stage for the first time, Rebecca, this weekend, and he's funny. So he has to, that's just who he is, right, Lynn? I mean, you've known him for a lot of years. And so, yeah, I appreciate that you said that. I'm just going to share a little story. So, when I first started speaking, this would say I was like at the end of year 1 and I was nervous all the time. And then I was invited to speak at a major hospital and they said it was going to be about 300 people. That was going to be a lot for me. And I was really nervous. And I went and looked at the room and that sort of thing. And then I saw in the newspaper, they had a 2-page ad that we were featured. And there were only 5 speakers. One of them was Chris Everett. So, I mean, I was going right after Chris Everett. I mean, I was like a wreck. And then because I saw in the newspaper 2 weeks in a row, I go, they're not going to have 300 people there. They might have like 3,000 people there. Like, I'm really nervous about this. And I had slides and that sort of thing. But what it does when you feel the fear, I really prepared. I knew that what if the slides don't work? I better know them backwards and forwards. I did like prayer sessions. I did all this stuff that I needed to do to get myself, I stayed up at night. I had to feel really comfortable and like practice it and walk it out through my house. And then I had relived it so many times because I visualized it and feeling the fear in advance so many times. I do this fear setting thing. I projected there were thousands and thousands of people and I literally almost had a heart attack and my heart would pace. So then when I got there were literally like 800 people there. And I was like, oh, that's all, because I had been practicing thousands of people in that room. So that's really what helped me very calmly. By the way, the slides didn't work and we were outside this ginormous tent and all the things. But I saw somebody else freak out that they didn't have their slides. So I think it's a combination, a lot of what you said, Benny. And just to give you a heads up, we got 23 seconds.
Yes, I got it.
You
But
asked a great question.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the information. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Really great connecting with you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. Let's see who we have next. Let's see. Can you do, well, let's see. I'm just going to say fantastic question because we get to give a review after each fantastic question. And interaction. And definitely Rebecca is a rock star here. She's a spiritual coach. And she does so many fantastic things. So everybody wants to connect with Rebecca. Okay, let's see if we can call Kelly Olive right here. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we submit. Let's see if we can get Dr. Let's see if we can find Samara is in the house. Okay, Samara, are you there with us?
Hi, Wendy. How are you? How's it going today?
Amazing. Great to connect with you there in Scottsdale, Arizona.
It's sunny.
Beautiful. Reading your bio here. Retreat Revenue Masterminds, exclusive branded events. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I love seeing the ladies who are
On the
there with
phone,
you.
on the phone. Yeah, we're just reading more about your bio.
Oh, you can just read it. Read away. Read away. I'll probably hear from you in an hour.
Okay, amazing. Well, fantastic. Okay, paid to vacation. Love it. Love it. Love it. Did you
the-
have a question? We have Benny here, speaker expert, Lynn, and a life advisor, Eileen Lemelman, a psychologist and women's empowerment coach. And then we have Suzette Bravo in the house, who works with young girls and women and really helping them step into their confidence and the next level of success for themselves. And now we
So
have
essentially a one-stop shop.
Yes, yes. We can get on a plane. We can be at your retreat in any part of the world. You just give us the word and we pack our bag and here we go.
Well, lucky for you, I have the jets to go get you.
Okay. Well, we're very intrigued.
So I actually haven't spoken on stage for a long time. And I've been in the event industry for 3 decades, which is insane because I'm 12. But I was brought on to be an author and a speaker by the basically people from the Napoleon Hill group, which is very exciting. I don't know if you know Eric Swanson from Habitude Warrior, but this is the whole Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Jim Cathcart group.
Sure.
So
Sure.
they brought me on board to be an author in their new 3-book series. So I'm a co-author and writing a chapter in each of them. And so I'm kind of doing that now. And it's the first time that I am being an author. And then I'm on stages starting in June, speaking about resilience and events, etc. So when I'm crafting my presentation, when I'm on stage, which type of audience? Because everybody's different, right? So how do I know the best way to really? I want to make people laugh. I want to make them cry. Like, what is the best way to go about doing that without going over a line? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask our speaker expert here, Benny, and then I'll chime in as well.
So, how are you, Samara? Is that correct?
As Forbes Riley said, my name is Samara. It
Samara.
rhymes with Tamara, but I'll get it to you today.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you something. What? So there's 3 things that, and write this down because this is probably going to help you. There's 3 things that we want to get from our audience, or that they need to get from us. It's what do we want them to know? What do we want them to feel? And what do we want them to do? Know, feel, do. So let me ask you, what do you want your audience to feel when they hear you speak?
I want them to feel so inspired and so strong that they can overcome anything that they want in their dreams.
Okay. And in that, there's probably some humor, right?
Yeah, my life's pretty funny.
Okay. In that, there's probably some stories that are going to make you cry,
Definitely.
right? And so you just have to inventory your stories and you have to figure out which are the right ones for the right audience, because you're either targeting a market or an audience and you have to figure out. I love this saying by Paul Newman. He says the difference between an audience and a market is that an audience will pay attention, an audience will listen to you, but a market will pay attention. And so the question for you is what kind of reaction and response do you want from people who are listening to you?
I love that. I'm writing down quickly.
And so that's, at least for me, I think one of the things that helped me out as a speaker, like a lot of my story. So I developed a speaker academy called the Speak More Academy. When I came up with that name, it was really kind of in a dark place in my life where I was really frustrated and trying to figure out what next. And this whole interaction with God happened where it was like, well, how did I create? And I said, you spoke. And he said, speak more. And that's how I designed my program. But when I really took a deep dive into Speak More was the 6-year-old that was telling my abuser, you can't keep me silent. And so I understood the power of my story. Now I share that story, like I just gave you a whole lifetime in like 30 seconds, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now I have your attention. I didn't take you down to the basement and leave you there in my trauma story. I could have gone humorous, but I chose not to because it's a real serious matter. But somewhere along the lines, I'm going to find a way to connect with you and take you on a journey with a funny story. So it all depends on where you position the humor, where you position the tension, the conflict in your story. And I think if you practice it enough and you write it out, you have to storyboard this thing. The way that I envision speaking is you have to storyboard it. It's like one scene goes to the next. Like, how do you remember a movie word for word? It's because you remember the scenes and you remember the
Right.
sounds. And it's the same thing when you're speaking. And so I would say how you do that is you start sharing your story, right? And you start to find different versions of it. I'll tell you, in the beginning when I started to share it, I shared way too much. And
Mm-hmm.
I realized, okay, I probably shouldn't say that. So I had to literally write out different versions of what I wanted to say. And I would literally on my phone record myself saying it. Because if I can't critique myself, then I'm definitely going to struggle if other people do it. So I had to be the first one to take ownership of that. So I would listen to myself say it, and I would say, "How can I say that differently?" So here's the one thing I do as well. I came up with these one-liners because it was easier for me to remember what I needed to say and the point that I was trying to make, and then close that point. So I would create what I call sticky conversations, words that stick, phrases that stick, one-liners that stick, so that you know where it's leading you. And because sometimes people who tell stories get so lost in their stories, they don't know how to recover, and we can see it. And so you don't want to do that, especially if there's something impactful and you want to connect with people on. So I'll end that time because you only got
Yeah.
2 minutes. So I want to make sure other people answer that.
And
Oh, I'll definitely add more time for sure.
Well, this is I'm really glad that you asked this question in the way that you asked it. I remember I knew that I needed to actually hire somebody to take some training so I could learn how to speak on stage. And because to the point that Benny said around sharing your story, what I did and I created, because I founded a speakers and coaches society that now has almost 20,000 members, but to lay out a timeline of your life and to start look at the highlight reels of your life and just begin there so that you can have the sound bites. So you have stories that are longer stories when it's relevant, and that you have really short sound bites so that you can just plug and play based on the audience and the whatever it is that you're launching or the outcome that you want from your talk. And then have a couple core pieces. I practice all the time on my recorder because you can hear if you're congruent in your message, talking about being authentic, talking about being in flow. You can look at the timeline, how long it takes to express a point. But if you can talk like in bullet points, and what I also share with people, like think in acronyms and think in steps, so that you're going to share 3 steps and you can remember those 3 steps. So you're going to share 5 steps. Now those are more steps, right? So you have to think about what stories go with those steps. And you see very often like an acronym, like AL, right? If I were Jason, O stands for, W stands for, and so you can
Mhm.
be able to really drop those points very, very quickly in whether it's a conversation or whether it's a large audience. You always have that go-to, and you never know when you get pulled up on stage. You never know where you're going to have an opportunity. So, for example, we have 44 seconds left. But I'm going to say this really quickly. I was asked to speak next Monday, and it's speaking with a group that you're talking about, and it is Brian Tracy and Sharon Lecter and some of these other people and Mark Victor Hansen and all that.
Mhm.
And because it is next week, right? I produced an event. We have a book launch. All these things going on. I know that I already have a library of talks that I can go back and just go in and tweak. So you always want to have like a reference point of 3 to 5 talks that you're ready, because the sweet spot is when you get an opportunity that comes out of the blue. And if you're the one that can say yes and be ready, like we popped on here to do this podcast, we're doing it live. And so you don't have to really think about preparing.
Mhm, mhm.
So
That's really great advice. I was actually invited by Jim Cathcart to be at his retreat he was doing in La Jolla next week. Is that where you're going?
No, mine's going to be, they're going to be live in LA and I'm going to be over on Zoom. So yeah, I think it's next Monday, but it's the LA Tribune has a week's worth of
Yes. I was
speakers.
invited to that and I declined it. Maybe I should have done it.
Well, there you go. And you just really, really know when, like, those last minute opportunity, if you can fill in for a speaker, then you are golden.
I never
And
say no.
right? Exactly. And be
Well,
ready.
it's the pay to play sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah, well, and so sometimes you do pay to play. The very first time when I hired the coach, it was a pay to play and it was a lot of money. It was
Mhm.
$37,000, but I knew that they were going to fill the room and I knew I was going to come up to the task, right? When you pay attention.
Yes.
And I loved what they did was the very first time they put us on a stage and then the audience critiqued us because there were 40 other speakers there that were also speaking that critiqued us. And so that is really great. And of course, we hone in on that one thing, right? Someone said, I didn't think you were authentic, but that stuck with me. Okay, let me take that in and appreciate it and move forward, right?
Yeah.
So, any other questions that you have or anybody else on the panel want to add in here?
I agree with what Benny said is you never say no.
So who's speaking? I'm sorry.
Sorry, this is Suzette.
Suzette. Hi, Suzette.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I think one of the greatest speakers out there, John Maxwell, he tells people
Yeah.
all the time, he's like, I'm a great speaker because I've spoken, I don't even know what his number is, probably 50,000 different times. And if you're not good after doing it 50,000 times, you might want to think about something else that you need to do. But it's practice, it's getting out with your message, it's believing in your story. And like I shared earlier about my experience Saturday after speaking, when Rachel came up to me, that was one person that she came up and expressed how much that meant to her. And that, for me, that is always the goal. And Benny said that earlier too. It's like you speak to one, and that is always my goal, is to inspire and impact one person in the audience.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think the pay to play is important. I'll tell you why. I paid $2,000 to be at an event to sponsor it. That ended up turning into 150,000 with one client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that ended up turning into 2 more referrals with 2 other organizations to work with them. And I wasn't even a guest. I wasn't even a keynote. I was a panelist.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll be honest with you, the turnout wasn't that great. I just needed the right person to come to the table. That's all I needed. That's all you
Right.
need. And I would even say, here, the way that the market is going with speaking, you're going to get less opportunities to get paid to speak, but I prefer speaking to people who are willing to pay. So if that means freemium, if that means pay to play, you might have to think, do I have a product, program, or service then that I can leverage from my being in the right rooms? So again, it could present a new opportunity. Some people don't like it. To me, I understand the industry. I understand how it works. Like, we have an event coming up June 7th and 8th. We have Simon Sinek's former agent, and she's booked him for God knows how many. She's going to come speak and share with us. And she says the biggest play right now is not getting paid to speak. It's speaking to people who are willing to pay. And so you got to get in the right rooms. You have a platform. If it were me, I'd go back and send them an email and say, is my spot still available? If it were me, because you need the reps. You need the opportunity. You never know in that room. The value is more in the people in the room than it is even getting paid. And
Right.
so if you have the right people in the room who hear what problem you solve, and they want to work with you, and you're funny, and you're cute, right? You're cute, and you make people cry because that's what you told me you were going to do, right? Then I would get in that room.
Belly laugh till you cry.
Yeah, all day long. That's how I built my practice. Literally paying to get on stages, paying to get in the front of the room, paying to get spotlighted. You don't want to just be in the room. You want to be in the front of the room. So however you can get there and get the microphone and speak and let people feel who you are and why you do what you do, that's going to make that connection that you would have had to take, I don't know how many coffee calls and phone calls, and maybe it would happen and maybe it won't, but you stand up in front of the room with a microphone, bang, you got it. So all day long.
This was so incredible. I could do this all day. Sorry. I have so many notes and I use the legal pads. My dad was a lawyer, so I took all his legal pads when he passed away recently. So I actually became a 10X certified business coach to Grant Cardone, Cardone Ventures, and was with John Maxwell. He was on stage at GrowthCon, which was pretty cool. He's incredible. That was the first time that I saw him, Suzette. And it's really interesting because I've lived in 30 homes, right? I was married to a submarine naval officer and oil gas construction expat. So we moved a lot. And when I move, with books, right? Yeah, books are heavy. They take a lot of space. And the only books that I kept moving from place to place were ones that were autographed or more of a how-to, but most of them are actually autographed. And I didn't even realize I was in the right place at the right time until I looked back at these books that I had and didn't even know who the people were. Some of them I just picked up from when they were just sitting around somewhere. One of them was Maxwell's Leadership 101. And I had so many books from different people that are empowering. And many of these books I never read. But now I'm looking at them and I'm like talking to the individuals and their names are on all of these books. It's unbelievable. It just shows how the universe opens up when you let things go. So have you guys been authors of books as well? Who here has been an author?
Well, I'll go ahead and talk to that. I launched a book right away, like day one. And because I was leaving a career of 30 years and needed, I was 50 years old. So I needed to reach as many people as possible to actually have a business. So I wrote a book. And from that was the catalyst to get me booked on stages right away. With a book, you get booked on stages, and you get to share your story in a book. You get to share a lot more of your story and hit some of the key points that you might not be able to hit when you're speaking on stage. So they go hand in hand. Plus, it's a great lead mag. So over the years, it's evolved so that now with my publishing partner, we produce co-author books. And Lynn, Eileen, and Suzette, who are here today, are co-authors, but best-selling authors. And we're placed in Barnes & Noble, and we have big book signings. And that just helps to build your credibility and authority online and gets you booked on more stages. So yes, I say become an author, write a book, write a chapter in a book. We have 2 books that we just launched. We're launching a book this week that will hit best-selling status. And so I could not emphasize how powerful a book is as a door opener.
I love that. And so right now I'm writing the chapters for these 3 books that are coming out that will all be bestsellers too. And so I know I'm writing way more than, the 1,500 words that I get. So I guess in the thought process of that, is it better to write more and then turn it into a large book and then cut it down for the different chapters, you think?
I have a lot to say about this topic because I also I privately work with clients that are also in books like Jack Canfield and other larger names. And so we can have a one-off conversation about this. But yeah, there are a lot of different ways that you can leverage what you're doing.
Is Jason with you?
Jason is here somewhere. He's got the Shark Tank later on today
Oh my
over at
gosh.
FAU campus. Oh, shrimp.
Shrimp.
Shrimp. Oh, look,
I was
Jason.
like,
Now,
really?
Jason. Okay, here's Jason. Shrimp.
Featured on Shark Tank soon.
Yo, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. We're just calling it in.
I love it. I love it. So I have to be honest, this has been so incredible. And I wanted to know, I was working out and all that. I'm in Scottsdale, by the way.
Okay, and I'm in Scottsdale often, and one of our co-authors, Julie, just launched. So we're going to be doing book signings and that sort of thing. So look forward to staying in touch, and really great talking to you.
I love that.
We have a
Thank
few
you.
people that are waiting, so I look forward to continuing the conversation, Samara.
You guys do your thing. Thank you.
That was a great call. That was a long call. That was great.
Is Benny heading out?
Yeah, I think they're both leaving. Okay.
Okay. That was a okay, let's see. I am looking right here for our next caller. Okay, let's see who we've got calling in. We are available. Thank you to Benny. And thank you to Suzette. Thank you so much. Come on, we got to do this again, man.
Come back. I got to go speak right now at lunch and learn.
Okay.
Oh,
Lawyers,
nice
so.
to
Okay. Well,
Oh, it was great.
see, you said yes right away, and here you are.
Yeah.
So,
I said yes.
okay. So we got a lot to follow up on. Okay. All right. Go crush it.
Well, that's why I'm here too, because Wendy, you said come and be on the panel.
And you said
And I
yes.
said
Yes.
And you jumped right
Me
in and said
too.
yes. Okay, let's see who we
get
have
more-
here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting from Kathy Binner. Let's see. She says, I've been listening to the OWL and on the LinkedIn talking about that. The panel is so awesome. A shout out to Kathy Binner here on LinkedIn. Send us a note. Let us know that you are watching. Join in on the OWL app. There is Samara right here live. A fantastic call with Samara. Go ahead and follow Samara. And let's see who else we have over here. Well, Tiffany, it's so funny because I asked Tiffany, I texted her and asked her if she could come in. She said, I'm actually at the Qatar airport on the way to Thailand. So I can't be there, but I'm there in spirit.
Oh,
So
my
we
goodness.
Betty was on the text. He wrote LOL. Like, sorry, I can't be there, but like, yes. Okay. I hear you. All right. Let's see if we can find Patricia here. Oh, we got
Hop in
Patty
and
here.
make
Thank
sure you guys are all set here since Jason's gone.
Okay, thanks so much. This is multitasking at its finest.
Yes. So,
All right, let's see if we can get Patricia
yeah.
to join in. We tried to get her earlier, so she'll get a notification.
Yep. And then for everybody that's watching, just as a little lesson of how to use the app. So, if there is somebody that you want to speak to, but they're not currently live, you want to request them to go live. But another helpful tip is make sure that you click the follow button here. And this little bell underneath, you can follow someone with or without notifications. But if you are wanting to speak with someone, you just click it. It'll automatically follow them with notifications. And that way you can be doing something else on your phone and a notification will pop up. Patricia just went online. So then you'll know, oh, they're online now. Let me get back on OWL so I can speak with them. So make sure, because if you don't follow them, then you won't necessarily know if you go to do something else on your phone that they are live. So just a little OWL tip there. But if we want to go back,
Is Max live? Max was asking. Now David Duglow was available, so we're looking to see if
so
Max.
these are so active owls is everybody that is live. So it looks like just scrolling down here. No, Max is not live.
Okay, I just sent her a text. Let's see if she could go live.
But in the meantime, and just so everyone knows as well, when you are using the app, whether you are receiving a call or making a call, make sure that you turn your Wi-Fi off. Using cellular data is the best way to get service on an OWL call. So we've had people in the past just have trouble getting started because like this app doesn't work, but no, it's just the Wi-Fi. Make sure that it's off. Do we want to? Are we able to give someone else a call? Do we want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Patricia.
Let's see. I don't.
Yeah,
see
I'm
Patricia.
thinking. I feel like Amy would be. Oh, I'm trying to think. So I feel like she's done.
Somebody's calling through.
Okay. Let's.
Oh, Shell. I spoke with Shella
should we-
yesterday.
Chella here. I
Chella.
think we could call her because we want Why don't you answer and tell her we'll call to go live and we'll call her right back.
Hello.
She's connecting so that she can be up on the screen and that everyone can hear her.
Hey, Chella. Hello. Hi, can we call you back? Because we have to call you through the app.
Yeah, tell her to go. Can you go live,
Can you
Chella?
go live?
Oh, you're live. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay, we'll call.
We'll
Tell her.
call you right back.
Okay, perfect. All right, great. Well, we just got a call. Chella is one of our super users. So we're going to call her now on the air. She just has to log. It looks like she needs to X out of. So if you can just hit submit. So at the end of the call, you're going to.
I think you have to give her some stars. Give her 5 stars.
That's
well,
okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I was going to do. Okay. Here we go. Now she's available to call. And yep, it's going through. She should be on in a second. And here it is. Hi, Chella.
Hello, Wendy.
This is Ellie, actually, but I'm gonna
Oh,
give. We
why?
just keep changing, but it's okay. You're on air now. You're on the podcast live with Wendy. So go ahead and talk to her. I'm just here for technical help. But let's get back to the show.
Well,
Hi,
Wendy
Chella.
and ladies, it is a pleasure to see you on the OWL app.
Well, we love being here. We just absolutely love the OWL community. So to be able to merge the Unleash community and the OWL community, I mean, the event was just what Jason created with the podcast, and then to be able to create the group and to be featured today, it's truly an honor.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about, I know what you do. And so for those folks listening and they're wanting to join the OWL app, we're going to put the code. We can put the code under the LinkedIn so they can join with your code so that we can get more people to call you. And really what this app is about is learning from each other, learning and helping each other, collaboration, learning and helping each other get the business to the next level.
Well, I just opened the LinkedIn app because that's a really good point, because we are live streaming on LinkedIn, and then to be able to comment. All right. Well, I see that there are some comments on there, so that's great. Were you
And I'm
able to
sure
watch
that
us live on LinkedIn?
I am watching you live. That's how I need to call in.
Oh, okay. There you have it. Isn't it an amazing world that we live in today, that we have all these opportunities?
Hi,
Okay,
Chella.
let's make it easier for the folks to call in. What are, from each one of you ladies, what is one question that you can have somebody that doesn't know you? What is one question, each one of you, that people can call you in? What is your genius zone? What is the area that you can help them with?
Well, I will start, and that is to grow your authority online, to grow your visibility going from one to one to one to many. And through 2 vehicles in particular, through becoming a best-selling author and becoming a professional speaker and speaking on stages and on podcasts. So anybody that wants to know first how to publish a book, how to become an author, or how to begin a speaking career, then I am that person, that go-to person. I left the pharmaceutical industry back in, I don't know, 14 years ago. And that's really how I did it at the age of 50. So that's my area of expertise. And I'm going to pass over to Eileen Lemelman.
Hey there, Chella. So I am a clinician turned entrepreneur. And so, my whole focus is about mental health. It's about the foundation of all mental health, which is gaining awareness and then using that self-awareness through connecting in community. And so I am the founder of the Sister Community. And through that, I encourage, inspire, and I connect with women and create safe containers for people to share and find out more about themselves. And I also
Fabulous.
have a podcast called, and this is my whole motto, is my whole mantra is the name of my podcast, which is "It All Starts with You."
I love that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Hi, Chella. It's Lynn Robin, and it was nice to connect with you last night.
Lynn, if I can go back to Eileen. Eileen, your audio is a little low. Wendy, you were fine. Eileen, and Lynn, yours is fine. I can hear you just plenty. So I don't know if there's some adjustments that need to be made to Eileen's audio.
Okay, how about now? Is that better?
A little bit better.
Oh, okay. So something with my microphone, but thank you.
When Ellie comes back, that's a tech issue. All right, Lynn, who are you looking to connect?
Okay, so I'm an end of life advisor, and I assist families to help pre-plan for their future end of life needs. And it's a very difficult conversation to have, but that's what I do. I guide and support these families so that their families don't have the emotional or financial burden down the road when this happens. That's in a
Lovely.
nutshell. Yes.
And are you looking to connect to people in a particular area, location?
I can advise anyone for advisement reasons nationwide, but I help people locally in the whole state of Florida.
Fabulous. So I'm going to go back to Wendy because Wendy is phenomenal. And I have been part of more than 50 bestseller book campaigns. And what I have seen in Wendy and what she does for the people that work with her, she goes above and beyond. She helps them. She puts these events together where she brings them together, not only physically, but the support that I have seen her extend to the people that write the chapter in her books is, again, from my personal experience of being part of over 50 best-selling campaigns where we supported the authors and all. But Wendy, to me, does a phenomenal job because it's not just about writing the book, but she guides you to how you can put yourself and place yourself so that you're attracting the people that are your ideal client. So this is what I have seen her do. I've been following her. Okay, let me be honest. I've been stalking her a little bit. And this is what I have seen her. And she's humble and she will not say that for herself. But if you are ready to write your chapter in a book to get your business to the next level, highly, highly recommend you connect with Wendy. And what a phenomenal opportunity. You can connect with her right here, right now. Download the OWL app, and they're going to be on for a couple of hours, I believe. And this is your opportunity to call in and ask her some questions. And she's also active on the app. So if you're not able to do that right now for whatever reasons, you already have meetings scheduled, great. You can come back and reach out to her on the OWL app. She is live. All three ladies on stage are live on the app. And that's the beautiful thing is that you can always request that they go live. So highly recommend connecting with all three amazing powerhouses that are currently on stage and get your questions answered. And I did not get paid to say this.
Well, thank you so much. I believe we're all mirrors of each other, and you see in someone else what exists inside of you. I love that you shared that you've been part of so many book projects because books change lives. Books have changed my life. And, there's so many incredible people in the world that have, like, writing a book, you don't do it really to make money off the book. You do it because you have a message that you want to share in the world, and that's the vehicle to do it. Yes, it's a door opener to other opportunities, very much so, but a lot of people write a book to leave a legacy and to leave their message going forward. I know that's why I wrote my first book, second book, third book. That's why I have partnered with Patricia. I think she is here watching. And so that together you bring your talents, right? We're all about bringing the collective together. And I see that as I'm watching the time as well. But I do believe that we all have a book and a story and a message, and to get out there and do it. And you just jump on the OWL app and connect with people that are experts in different fields. And when you see somebody that is willing to peel back the curtain and share the journey with you and share the tips and the strategies and all those things, it's doable. Like I had no idea. I would have never guessed in a million years this would be possible. So thank you so much for being on here today. I mean, you were I think the first person really that reached out to me on OWL. So you're an advocate. You support so many people. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
She's ended.
Beautiful.
Love her.
Yeah. Thank you for being a lighthouse in the world. This woman is incredible. So you want to connect with her.
She was my first call last night, and she
Yeah,
was
she was my first call. Like really amazing. Someone who reaches out and it says, "Hi, I know you're new.
Yeah.
I see you. How can
Yep,
I help you? Here are
exactly.
some tips."
It meant the world to me.
So I'm just gonna say thank you for
It's
being.
like when you're
Thank you.
in the lunchroom and you're sitting by yourself, right? When you were a kid, and somebody would
Yes.
come over and say, "Can I
Ah,
sit with
yeah.
you?" It's like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm not alone in the world, and you're going to be my friend. That's wonderful.
That's a great analogy.
So, yeah.
I just was able to. Oh, good. That went through. All right. So now I'm going to see if I can find. Let's see
Oh.
here.
You're always scrolling, Wendy.
Not that, yeah, we don't know how to scroll because we certainly do. Okay, I've got the LinkedIn over here, and I've got the OWL app over there. And we've got quite a few people. Let us know if you have a question over on LinkedIn. If you have a question, we're also now manning the LinkedIn feed as well.
So, I'm new to the OWL app, and I thank you so much for asking me to be on the panel, because not only am I sharing in the community, but I'm learning. And I'm learning so much about being on the app. And now I don't think I'm going to be quite as scared, and I'm not going to be quite as intimidated, because I'm actually doing it and learning. And this has been a great experience for me.
I love that. What
I
about
love it too.
Yeah, what about you, Lynn?
I am so excited that you asked me to be a part of this. I said yes right away. And I was I was so excited to learn about the OWL app. And when I got on last night and figured it all out, and then I got the calls, I was so excited. This is a great app. Such a great resource.
Talking about, asking and showing up, with Wendy, I'm a therapist, so I have a full schedule of patients, and I'm very, very busy. But when Wendy calls, I try to change everything around so that I can be where Wendy is, because she's got the magic sauce, and I love, and that's just, what? That's about surrounding yourself with beautiful, smart, encouraging, positive people. And that's why I came here today also, because I like to be in that environment.
And I want to say thank you so much for what you said. And then, like, as I'm sitting here, I will say, like, I have a sales background, and early on, I would learn a product, right, to sell the products. But innately, I knew because I suffered feeling like I didn't really fit in and belong growing up and had low self-esteem, that when I entered into the world of entrepreneurship, and just even thinking about sales in general, it's not really how can I sell something, it's how can I help somebody. And I want to share these 3 questions that I ask before I go into any sales call or have any conversation that would lead to some sort of enrollment. And it is what is my mantra. It's what I say every day. Who can I help? What can I share? And how can I make a bigger difference in the world? So while I'm sitting here, while you're speaking, I could just be dormant and just like be here listening and agreeing. Or I can think, you know what? I can take a reel for Eileen. Maybe she can repurpose. And so I've been able to take reels the whole time, because what is it that would help me? Like, I know if somebody just randomly took reels, and that's why giving people reviews, like if I can just, like, how can I support? Who can I help? What can I share? And how can I make a bigger difference in the world? When you're sitting across from someone and you want to enroll somebody, that you want to build your practice, that, if you're a coach, you're a business owner, regardless of whatever you do, like if you just ask those questions, I truly believe that we can feel one another, and we can feel when we're being sold to or being authentic. And what I hear you saying is like you can feel that, and I deeply appreciate that. And it came out of pain. It didn't just voila come. It's because I suffered so many years that I can think of nothing more rewarding than supporting other people. Because what you do, Lynn, in helping people at end stage, you were the person that held my hand when my mom was passing, and I did not have any arrangements for her passing at the end of her life. And that's a really hard thing to go through. So I knew I could rely on Lynn. And then with you, Eileen, to see how impeccable you show up for your clients, how you were all heart and soul, how we met each other and I was on your podcast, and who you are as a human being, and how you do everything so impeccable, that is what you lead with. And I know that we are meant to be together, and there's a lot of choices out there, and it can be really overwhelming, and trust is a big issue. And it just sounds like, okay, there's so many like ways that I can whatever write a book. There's so many people, there's so many choices. And how do you decide to make the decision? It's really, you have to drop into your heart and see what the community is about and put your baby toe in there. That's why I produce the event, so people can feel them when they like walk in the room and see, because we are the average of the 5 people that we're around, or the 10 people, or the 100 people, and like to get in the room. So thank you both that you both said yes. And that's Suzette, and that now our newest community member, Benny, who jumped right in as a sponsor at Unleash Your Superpower, right? These things happen, and we're stronger together. And so whatever it is for whoever is watching that you want to grow in your life, it's like find that community and get in and be loved on. And then
Well, Wendy, doesn't this speak to something that you speak about all the time, the snowball effect? That, the people that we connect with, you never know. You're going to meet them, you're going to connect with them, they're going to introduce you to somebody else. That person is going to introduce you to somebody else. Remember that commercial when we were kids? I think it was like Prel or something. It's like this person tells this person, this person tells this person.
and we
before-
forget where the seed is. So it's like my mission to remember how the seed started. Like, how is this magic happening with Jason? This is happening because Cindy Messler connected us, the organizer, one of the co-organizers for TEDx Boca Raton. And I met Cindy because of a podcast guest that I was having on that was a TEDx speaker. And then that happened with that podcast guest because the Speakers and Coaches Networking Society. So I always like to say, like, so where did it begin? Like, how did it start? And you can start a group and you might say, like, where's the value? What's converting into group? Well, you can't really look at it that way. So you got to look at that everything is connected to everything and really follow the red thread, like follow the thread to see, like, is it taking you closer to where you want to go? I know Patricia talks about this red thread. You're going to hear more about it on our community call, this week and our calls this week. And really, we can't do it alone. We just really can't. It's burnout. That's why mental health is such an issue in today's world.
That's right. That's why it's, for more than ever, people are yearning. They're yearning to belong, to be part of, to have, a community. And, that's what we all provide.
And your services actually as a psychologist and as a coach as well, because you're bringing to mind to me, like when you feel like you can't breathe, like you're holding your breath, like you're going to suffocate, you can have another person hold your hand and say, I'm going to breathe with you. Like you just know, like it's okay. You've got this. I literally get tears in my eyes, even thinking about that, to know. I mean, Lynn, you're always like the first one to jump in there.
Especially end of life. We don't want to be alone.
That's right.
We don't want to be alone either in our end of life or watching a family member end of life.
And you don't want to be sold to either. Like you don't want to have to be going through the motions of what's this cost. You want somebody to look at you with caring in their eyes and to see them as a human being and not as their wallet. Like that is the secret in sales. Don't look at a person as a wallet. Really feel into what it is that they're experiencing, because people purchase something, they buy something many times because it's for pleasure or pain, right? So to move away from pain, and that they're suffering, and that is a huge responsibility that we have as practitioners and leaders, conscious minded leaders. And that's what we're yearning. That's what you're yearning. All of us are yearning for. So I cannot thank the two of you enough for being here. And I just want to take a look at the app one more time. We're getting ready. We're going to close here, but please reach out to the amazing panel that has been here today. Test out the OWL app and make sure to download it. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you're missing, and you don't know through one phone call. And it might be a little bit uncomfortable when you're first getting started. Here comes Jason. I hope Jason is going to come with us for the wrap. And I don't know what we're putting up here, but that whatever it is that you want and need for your life and your business is on the other side of doing something different. If you always do what you've always done, you're going to get the same result. And it might feel foreign, and you might think, I don't have time to do this, but it literally will just take you it's that learning curve, and you will get it. And I promise you, you're going to meet somebody that is going to be a blessing in your life.
I agree with what she just said. I haven't been on a podcast for like an hour and a half. I can't get my voice back over here. I mean, so quietly sitting behind the scenes right now. But great job. Today was an awesome show. How'd you like the call-in element?
Amazing. Really, really great. I mean, we just heard from a diverse group of very talented, wise, heart-centered people.
Yeah.
And that's what you get. I mean, how many people do you have on the app?
Over 7,000 currently.
Okay.
And about 2,000 or so have expert profiles that are searchable within the app.
So where else can you reach on a whim when you get into your car, access to hundreds and thousands of experts for $1.
Yeah.
Where is that possible? And you created that.
So I'll give a couple tips at the ending here. All new experts have to charge $1 until they get to 10 calls taken. At 10 calls taken, they could alter their price, right? So it's such an opportunity while the app is new, and we put that restriction on each professional that joins. So all you have to do is go to the new OWL category and search low to high with the amount of calls taken and follow them all. So most of the individuals here are new on the OWL app. Follow them, and you're going to get the chat for $1. And often these individuals charge hundreds of dollars per hour to chat with them, right? So you could connect with them easy. They're trying out the app, and you can build an opportunity and relationship with them quickly. Because like you said, you could be in your car on the go, commuting to work daily, and just jump on a call with another like-minded professional like everyone here in this room. And entrepreneurship is lonely. I just posted about this. Most entrepreneurs are by themselves, right? So they could go to an event here or there. It looks like they're always around people. But in a 40-hour work week, probably 38 out of the 38 out of those 40 hours, they're by themselves at their home office, going to Starbucks here or there. And with OWL, they could connect with other like-minded professionals and really feel like they're part of a bigger community, just like your community on Facebook, your community at local events, and when you do your book launch at Barnes and Noble, right, you just feel connected to something. And OWL just enables that, enables you to quickly jump in and make a call or two and build a relationship. Okay. Okay. Well, we are gonna cut things off. I have to head to my other podcast studio over at FAU. I will be live at 1:00 at Shrimp Tank Boca, and then also the OWL Apps podcast is later today at 4:30. So maybe if y'all are available, we'll do the opposite of a call-in show. We'll call you. So on that show, we just look who's available and we ring them and we pull them into the show. Okay.
Very cool.
Cool. Well,
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks for joining
everyone.
us over on LinkedIn.
Take care.